When we last left our heroes, they'd just gotten the 4th of the legendary magic items they'd been searching for, and also killed the ancient red dragon that had been terrorizing the local city, in exchange for the Baron of the city going to war against the tyrannical overlord controlling the kingdom. The only problem was that in order to kill the dragon, the party had to use a magic item they'd been given a long time ago, and now they owed Harvey the Bard a huge favor. At this point, the party decided to begin the trek back to the city of Norwich, but while they were traveling back, they ran into someone on the road. It was an elf in a dark green cloak with a crossbow slung over his shoulder. "Ah, hello there. Wait, are you bandits by any chance?" No? Perfect! Would you like to group up, because I've heard there's bandits in these woods, but if we're all together then they wouldn't dare to fight us. Alright, I guess. What was your name, by the way? I'm Creed. The name's Arvol. Pleasure to meet you. The party immediately started panicking, but now I should probably give some backstory as to why they were. So, in the previous campaign I'd run in this world, there had been an NPC named Arvol, who was kind of like an early game antagonist to the players for the first half of the campaign. He had tried to incinerate them, kill them with zombies, and other stuff like that because he'd been trying to steal some magic red gemstones they had. Then, one day near the midpoint of the campaign, the party found him in the woods and killed him. However, out of character, after that campaign had ended, I revealed to the players that he hadn't really died, and that he eventually became the Valorian Lord himself. So by the time this campaign started, all of the players knew that Arvol was the Valorian Lord, but their characters didn't. So they had to act as if they hadn't just invited the big bad of the campaign to join their group. Luckily for the party, he wasn't with them for very long. When they arrived outside the walls of Norwich, Arvol turned to them and said, "Well, it seems like this is where we part ways, because I'm heading up towards Bardford. Catch you on the flip side." The party immediately froze, because that was the catchphrase of the Rakshasa that had been tormenting them for basically the entire campaign up until this point. After a few seconds of staring at each other, every single member of the party had the same idea and started shooting at the fake Arvol, but he was able to teleport away from them just in the nick of time. So, what did he steal from us this time? I think he stole the bag of holding from us. The one that the kobolds gave us with half of the dragon's hoard inside? Yep, that's the one. Well, I guess it could have been worse. At least he didn't steal a fang from us. What the players didn't know, however, is that they hadn't actually been given a bag of holding from the kobolds. Instead, they'd been given a bag of devouring, which looks identical, but when you open it, you get pulled inside and eaten by the bag. So the Rakshasa had a very nasty surprise from this heist, and the party never saw him again. At this point, the party went back into Norwich and met up with the Baron. While the players were there, they received a letter telling them that the Valorian Lord had apparently gotten a second fang. So then there were none left to hunt for, and the only thing to do was go kill the Valorian Lord. After about a week or so of waiting, the Baron's army was ready, and they began marching to war. One night, the party was woken up by someone playing a tune on a lute in the corner of the room, and they saw Harvey sitting there. "Hello, glad you finally woke up. I thought I'd be waiting here until the sun rose." "Oh, hello there, Harvey. Why are you here?" "Well, I noticed that you used the one gemstone, so I'd like to call in my favor now." "This is kind of a bad time." "Don't worry, you'll only be gone for an hour at most, and you'll be back here and ready for the invasion tomorrow as if you'd never been gone." "Okay, fine. What do you want?" "Well, first off, I should probably tell you that I'm actually from a different dimension, which I left because I thought it was about to get destroyed, but then they apparently were able to stop the villain and save everyone. Now I want you to go back to that dimension and get me a magic item that's in a safe underneath the city." "Why don't you just go there yourself and get it?" "Well, that brings me to my second point. I kind of used to be an archdevil in that dimension, and once the fiends of this dimension learned that, they started tracking all interdimensional travel. If I go through the portal, they'd attack within seconds. But if you all go through the portal, they'll probably still attack, but you'll have at least a few minutes before they show up, so you'll want to be quick." The party went through the portal and arrived in the middle of a massive city, which they learned was named Belburn. If you've seen my series about my West Marches campaign called The Last City, then you may recognize that name. because this takes place about 20 years after the end of that campaign. Anyway, the party immediately began searching through the city for the building they were supposed to find, and right when they arrived they heard screams from further in the city and saw a massive hell portal rip open above them. They hurried into the building, broke into the vault, and found the item they were looking for. It was called the Void Root. It looked like a glitch in reality, a cube of space where even light was snuffed out. The party grabbed it and rushed back outside, only to see that both demons and devils had shown up to ruin their day. Leading the closest search party was someone in full plate armor, with 2 glowing red eyes, and was wielding a flaming greatsword whose hilt was made out of a goat's skull. You may recognize this as the person they fought up at the Temple of the Oracle back in episode 3, and also that he had died back then. Well, since he was working for the demons, death was more of just a temporary setback that would delay him for a bit, but he kept on returning to attack the party again and again. The party got into a fight with him, and it was pretty evenly matched, with each group slowly whittling down the health of the other, but it was interrupted by Harvey messaging the party. The dimension is literally cracking apart over there. You need to get to the center of the city within a few minutes, you're going to be trapped there. The party decided to finish killing the armored demon first, and then they got to running towards the center of the city. It was an extremely close call, but the party managed to make it to Harvey's portal just in time, and they appeared back in their tent as the portal disappeared behind them. They gave Harvey the Void Root, and he headed out on his own into the surrounding woods. Did we just give a magic item called the Void Root to someone who just told us they used to be an archdevil? I'm sure it'll be fine and nothing bad will happen because of it. The next morning, the party and the army marched towards Burkton, the capital of the kingdom, ready to finally kill the Valorian Lord and save the kingdom of Drusilla.